Right, so hi Alex, are you alright?
I'm good, thank you. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How's your day been?
It's been good. So, um, today was my first day back in the lab after Christmas and New Year. I had an exam this week as well. So I took a day's annual leave just to recover from that, and then today was back in the lab. But yeah, it was quite a busy day, but it was good. Yeah.
How did your exam go? Is that alright?
So it was the first time that I've ever done an open book exam. All the exams I've ever done before they've all been on site firstly, apart from my STP exams last summer, which had to be done online, but they weren't open book. So it was a bit of for me, it was a bit of a learning curve. I wasn't quite sure the best ways to prepare, but in the end, I think actually it was a lot less pressure than any exam that I've done before, which was what I really needed right now, especially with how busy everything is. So yeah, no, I think I did the best possible with it, and yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, it was different, but yeah,
That's good.
yeah,
Fab. So yeah, kind of the aim of this is just so people can get an idea of like our backgrounds and then what we get up to like day to day mainly.
yeah,
So are you happy just to give like a little bit of a rundown of what you did before the STP?
yeah, definitely. So I'm in my second year of the STP at the moment, but before I did the STP, I started off by doing a degree in biomedical science, and I did that at Lancaster University. And then in between my second and third year, we had the opportunity to apply for an industrial placement year in the NHS. Um, so I opted to do that, and I completed a year at Blackpool teaching hospitals in the pathology labs, and it was a really great experience, and I think that really helped with my application for the STP. Definitely, I don't think I'd be where I am today without that experience. It was really great because I was mainly based in histology, which is my specialism now, but I did see a little bit of the other disciplines in pathology as well. So that's microbiology, biochemistry, and hematology. Once I'd done that placement year, I I completed a registration portfolio whilst I was doing it. So that means that you can register to become a biomedical scientist. So this was the sort of background that I had. I completed that. I went back to university and finished my final year. And then during that final year was when I applied for the STP. So I was in my third year and I applied in the January. And it was just whilst I was finishing off my degree that I found out that I did get onto the STP. And here I am.
That's so good. Yeah, it must have been so handy just to kind of go into the hospital beforehand and see if it was what you wanted to do, like fully forever.
Yeah, it was. I definitely recommend it to anyone. It's a really great experience. Like it's definitely challenging going from being a student to doing the 9 to 5 days and commuting and having like your portfolio to do as well. But it's definitely recommend it. Yeah, it's really good.
So what do you get up to like now? What's your what have you done on the STP? I know it's not all like what you're going to be doing day to day, and then what would like a standard histopathology day be like?
Okay, so I've been thinking about the best way to answer this because I think with the pathology disciplines, the ones I've just mentioned, that they're quite regimented in how the sort of very biomedical scientist led, and the clinical scientist role is quite new in some of the disciplines, especially histology. So um, different centres take different approaches to it. So my opinion of what I'm doing at the minute might be quite different to if a different trainee did it, but hopefully it can give you a bit of an idea. Um, so at my centre, it's very much focused on like the main laboratory processes. So in histology, we receive specimens ranging from like tiny biopsies all the way up to big resection specimens, so we get a lot of cancer specimens and things like that. And our role is to work alongside pathologists to prepare these tissue samples in the best way to give the patient a diagnosis that could potentially lead to the best treatment, or it could lead to further surgery and things like that. So in a normal day-to-day role, I do tasks such as we have to prepare the tissue in the best way so that it can be looked at under a microscope. So a lot of my jobs are involved with that. But then there are also more specialist roles as well. So sometimes we go to clinics, where this is sort of the only really place that we interact with patients, because histology is a lab discipline and we don't really see patients otherwise. But like I say, there are these specialist roles that we do. So we have a clinic called Mohs, which is a skin cancer clinic, and the scientists are also present there along with a plastic surgeon, and that's just a clinic where our skills are sort of, it's like a multidisciplinary action to treat the patient there on site, all in one confined session. So that's something that we're involved with. As well, sometimes we go to something called head and neck clinic, and this is sort of a crossover between the discipline of cytology. So if we go to head and neck clinic, what we're doing is we'll receive a FNA sample from a patient, so like a fine needle aspiration from, say, a lymph node, or if they've got a lump that they're not quite sure what's going on. And we receive the sample and we have to look at the sample there on site where the patient is, and then assess the adequacy of the sample as to say whether it's sufficient for diagnostic testing. So that is something that we do see the patients at. But in the day-to-day, we don't really see any patients. We're in the labs and we're processing the tissue. We're doing extra tests as well to see. We do sort of, it's called immunohistochemistry testing, where we'll be using panels of antibodies to provide differential diagnosis to see, for example, if a patient's got a cancer where the primary site was, or if it's metastasized and things like that, really.
I've looked at the pictures like in the uni modules and they all just look the exact same to me. Like, it's such a science what you do.
Oh, I know, it takes some getting used to, but it's like anything really, it's just practice. The more you look at the microscope size, the more tissue recognition skills you get. So yeah.
Cool. So other than the histo kind of work that you do, what kind of rotations did you do in like first year? Because it's a little bit more varied, I guess, or it is for us. I don't know if that's the same for you.
Yeah, definitely. So for the histopathology specialism, you do 3 rotations. So you'll do 1 in andrology and reproductive science. I did actually go on that one, and that was really enjoyable because it was quite patient based, and I'd not really done that before. So I did really enjoy that. It was working in a fertility clinic, and it was just really different. So that was really interesting. And then the second rotation is genetics. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, it was virtual, but it didn't matter. They did a really, really good job with it, and it was the best they could have done. So I really enjoyed that as well. It was very interesting. And then the final one is cytology. This again, I couldn't actually go on the arranged placement, but our department that I'm in do a little bit of cytology. So I managed to do the side of it that I could, and the rest I've done sort of theoretically, because of the pandemic again. But yeah, so cytology, genetics, and anthropology are the 3 that we do.
Like everything's just been kind of thrown up in the air.
Yeah, definitely.
That's good though. How did you find the uni teaching?
So my first year and my second year have been really different experiences. When I went to university in first year, the pandemic, like coronavirus wasn't a thing. So it was in the September to the October for 6 weeks and we were in Manchester. And it was really, I really enjoyed it because we got to meet a lot of STP students. In histology, in my cohort, there's only me and one other trainee. So it was really nice to meet lots of other students and just hear their ideas and how, like, what sort of roles they do. It was really good to meet the lecturers as well because they're all really encouraging and enthusiastic about the course. So that was nice. But then this year it was all remote. So which was fine. And again, they did a really good job with it. Um, it was just quite different, but it was good in that I felt like in between lectures and things like that, you could do bits of other STP work. Like you could like fit other things in, or like sometimes I did some STEM ambassador work like in between lectures. Whereas when we were in Manchester, it was quite full on, like you go for the day and then you didn't really have time to do anything else. But it, so yeah, been very different, but both good, equally good. Yeah, just hopefully third year, we'll see.
Watch
Back
this space.
on. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, either way, they've been really interesting as well. The course content's been really good.
That's good. So
Yeah.
just like a final thing, I guess, how have you found the overall like experience so far of just the whole STP? Quite a big question.
Um, Overall, I found it really good. I went into it not really knowing too much what to expect. I felt like I knew that there was the university side and the competency side, but I just didn't really know how it was all going to work. And despite the pandemic, I have managed to do everything that I needed to do competency wise and university wise. So it has been okay, but yeah, and yeah, no, overall it's been really good. It's just I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm not a very confident person. So one thing I've struggled with is like sort of being assertive and saying, like, trying to explain about the STP. If people, like I said, sort of the pathology disciplines, it is quite a new um, role, like the clinical scientist role. So it it is hard sometimes because it's quite a established system that they've already got. So that's been a challenge, but I think I'm getting there. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's been good overall, and I'm definitely glad that I signed up for it.
No, I'm the same. Like I was never really that confident, and then this year I've just been like, try to push yourself,
Yeah,
and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
I
So
think as well, what I'd recommend is really helpful to talk to other STP students because I think there's been times when I thought, oh, like it must be me, like I can't, like it's nothing, I can't seem to like get this to work out properly, but I think it is a confidence thing sometimes, and to hear other students having like similar sort of um like if worries and things like that, it can make you realize actually like we're all in this together and it is part of the program. Like there's always ups and downs with it, but it's definitely good to have other trainees to talk to hear their experiences, and also it gives you like ideas of how to tackle things better. So that's why I'm really glad that lots of people have signed up to Instagram accounts this year, because last year there wasn't really anything like that. And yeah, no, it's been really nice to see everyone's really welcoming and really friendly. So that's really nice to see. Yeah.
definitely, like everyone I've spoken to has been lovely. So it's just a nice little thing. Perfect. Have you got anything else that you wanted to kind of say before finishing?
Um, I, I don't think so. I think I'd like to just put out there that if anyone has any questions or anything about histology or biomedical science or anything like that, then or the STP, I'm more than welcome to help with anything. So um yeah, people can always feel free to message me. But yeah, no, I'm just excited to like get more involved with other STP networking, and it's been really great talking to you today.
Oh,
How has your experience been so far of the STP? Have you?
Yeah, it's been odd just because it's all it's been a lot of like virtual learning and stuff, but everyone's been lovely. I don't know if it's just like a part of working in a place where people want to help people, but everyone's so kind that it's just made the whole thing go as smoothly as possible, I guess.
I'm glad to hear that. It's really a big help when you've got that sort of environment. So yeah, that's really good.
Cool. Perfect. So thank you for chatting with me, and yeah, have a nice rest of your evening.
You're chatting now. I didn't even have my tea. You know, it's like, I forgot we were talking so much, but no, it was
Yeah,
really
we
nice
could talk for
talking.
ages. No, but,
Thanks
so
for having me. Thank
yeah.
you.